Hi, how's it going? Hello everyone. Rode recently released the Videomic Go II. Some people are saying it's like a cheaper, smaller Videomic NTG, and I see their point. There are obviously many similarities, including the ability to function as a USB microphone. However, there is also a big difference between the Go II and the NTG that puts the Go II into a different category that may be a positive or a negative depending on your use case. And that is the fact that this is a passive microphone that, while it does require plug-in power from the camera it's connected to, it does not require any kind of batteries internally, or it doesn't need to be recharged or anything like that, whereas the NTG does. Being a powered microphone offers the advantage of higher output and no requirement for plug-in power from the connected device, but the disadvantage of this is that it requires its own battery power. And while the battery life of the Videomic NTG is quite good, it is still a consideration. If your camera has weak or poor quality preamps, the Go II won't benefit from the higher output that a powered mic does, but the Go II has a surprisingly strong output for a passive microphone, and it doesn't require any batteries of its own. This makes it much smaller and lighter than the Videomic NTG, and it also means you never have to remember to charge it. It could live in a camera bag and be ready to go whenever you want to use it without having to think about whether or not it's charged or whether or not you have a set of batteries for it. So while the Videomic NTG seems to be getting all the comparisons with the new Videomic Go II, I thought a good comparison might be the Rode Videomicro. The Rode Videomicro is also a passive microphone, and while either of these could be your primary microphone, I think another use case could be as a backup microphone to have in your bag. The Videomicro is also very small. It has decent sound quality. It comes with a Furry Windscreen, a very effective shock mount, and it's reasonably priced, and you'll never grab it and find that the battery is dead. The Videomicro does lack a little bit in the low end, but it does make it less susceptible to wind noise and traffic rumble, but it can also sound a bit thin in some situations. So I decided to compare the Videomicro to the new Go II. The Go II is nearly twice the price, and it includes only a foam windscreen rather than the furry windscreen that the Micro comes with, but the Go II does come with a fancier shock mount, and it is a much more versatile microphone with the ability to be used as a USB mic with a headphone out, and it has a stronger output level than the Videomicro as well. The Go II is noticeably larger than the Videomicro, but it's still small enough to be, easy to carry around, easy to store, easy to transport. Surprisingly, the Go II is noticeably lighter than the Videomicro. Neither is heavy, but especially considering the larger size, the Go II feels unbelievably light. I believe the tube is aluminum, but the rear end cap is plastic, and the internals may be plastic as well. Because the Videomicro actually weighs 20% more than the Go II. The mount included with the Go II actually makes the overall setup heavier than the Videomicro, but I just couldn't help be struck with how light the Go II microphone itself is. As for performance, so far I have been recording with the Go II connected directly to my laptop with a USB cable. So in terms of versatility, this microphone can definitely be used in a booth as a voiceover mic for videos like this, no problem. And just for comparison, I've now switched to the Rode Videomicro, but it is recording into a portable audio recorder because obviously it doesn't have USB functionality. In my opinion, the Go II has a slightly more full, more natural sound than the Videomicro. And if you're wondering why I have two Videomic Go IIs on my desk, that is because the first one, this one, had a bad shielding or grounding issue, and anytime it was used indoors where there was kind of some EMI interference just from electrical devices, it had a very bad hum. And also, anytime it was plugged into any USB device, it had a very bad hum. So definitely a defect. I tried multiple cables, I tried shielding it and doing different things, and I just couldn't get rid of the hum in most situations. But I didn't want to just do the review and say, hey, this microphone has shielding problems. I went ahead and got another one to try, and sure enough, the new one is fine. No problems at all. So this the newer one is the one that I used to record the first part of this review. So just know that it was just a defect. Any product, any manufacturer can, have a defect slip out. I'm not going to hold it against them. Just so you know, that's why I have two. So first up, we've got the Rode Videomicro recording directly into the camera. It is quite breezy out here right now. I was supposed to not be very windy today, so that's why I kind of planned to do this today, but it turns out it's actually quite windy. I'm standing behind the camera and I have the microphone pointed directly back at me, and I'm probably 18 to 20 inches or so away from the microphone. Not a whole lot of ambient noise right now, a little bit of seagulls, obviously the wind, and there is just some very distant hum from traffic, but really not that much. It's a pretty quiet area, other than just today, the wind. I have the included Furry Windscreen on the microphone right now, so in a minute here, when I switch to the Videomic Go II, we'll get a pretty good compare and contrast with how well the included foam windscreen works on that microphone. But again, this is the Rode Videomicro recording directly into the camera. Alright, now I've switched to the Rode Videomic Go II, and again, recording directly into the camera, and I'm about 18 to 20 inches away from the microphone, directly behind the camera. The microphone is pointed straight back at me. About the same wind as before, pretty steady, consistent wind today, and just the included foam windscreen on the microphone. Just from watching the levels on the camera, I would say it's definitely picking up the wind more so than the Videomicro was. But I do have the foam from the Furry Windscreen from the Videomicro in my pocket, so I'm going to put that on the microphone in a second here, so that we can see if this one is picking up a lot of wind noise, how much difference it makes just having the Videomicro's Furry Windscreen on it. But this is how the Rode Videomic Go II sounds in the same situation. Alright, scratch that. Unfortunately, I had not actually tried the Furry Windscreen from the Rode Videomicro on the Videomic Go II yet. I know that it seemed like, the little rubber kind of grommet end on the Furry Windscreen would stretch a little and it would go on this microphone, because I know this microphone is a tiny bit bigger diameter. But it turns out it will not stretch enough. So the Rode Videomicro's windscreen does not fit on this microphone. So it is what it is. It's got the included foam windscreen on it still, and it seems to be picking up a lot more of that wind than the other one was. So, but either way, this is how it sounds. Okay, again, I'm recording with the Rode Videomicro, still with the included Furry Windscreen on. It's still a little bit breezy, but it's not quite as breezy here, so not as much wind noise, but the Furry Windscreen is still on there. So now I'm in a spot where there's a little bit more background noise. Obviously there's some traffic to my right and straight ahead of me, so this is how it does. I'm about the same distance away, maybe 18 to 20 inches from the microphone. So this is how the Rode Videomicro sounds in an area where I've got a little bit more traffic noise, a little bit more background noise in general, and still definitely a bit of a cross breeze. So this is how the Rode Videomicro sounds in this situation. And now I've switched to the Rode Videomic Go II, but this time I do actually have a Furry Windscreen crammed onto this microphone, so hopefully the wind noise will not be as much of a problem. But again, recording about 18 to 20 inches away from the microphone or so. Got some traffic noise to my right and some traffic noise directly ahead of me. And again, still a bit of a cross breeze, so this is how the Rode Videomic Go II sounds in that same situation. So maybe you can get an idea of how well it isolates from this surrounding noise. At the current moment, it is pointing directly backwards, directly at me. So hopefully it is blocking out some of that traffic noise. And this is how it sounds in that situation. Rode Videomic Go II. Alright, back inside, still recording with the Rode Videomicro, just for comparison. And as you could tell, the Go II does suffer from wind outside with just the foam windscreen. It does a better job of blocking the wind than some of the included foams I've seen, but it clearly isn't enough for a breezy day outside. If you plan to use the Go II outside, you're definitely going to want to get some kind of Furry Windscreen. That does hurt the value a bit, but even so, I still think the Go II sounds better than the Videomicro. It has a much hotter signal, which allows you to use a lower gain on your camera or recorder, and it's obviously got a tremendous versatility advantage having the USB functionality. For $100, I definitely think the Go II would be a great option to consider if you're looking for a microphone like this. And for the last little bit, I've switched back to the Videomic Go II. Despite all the advantages of the Go II, one of which also being self-noise, which the Go II does have a little bit lower self-noise than the Videomicro, I still think there is a place for the Videomicro. If you don't have any use for USB functionality, the Videomicro is a very small, decent-sounding microphone for recording into a camera, and it includes an effective shock mount, a very effective furry windscreen, and it doesn't require batteries or have to be charged. For about $55, it might still be a compelling option. So just a quick comparison between the Videomicro and the new Go II. Hopefully it was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, thanks for watching. Take care.